Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. And this is a cool thing. Um, I've said before, I've been self employed all my life. And my wife, she was self employed, her family was. So when she was brought up, owning her own business, just like I was brought up. And it was it was funny because now I was talking to a guy, and he was saying this is the way this person should run a business. In other words, he had his idea on how someone else should run their business, and that started me thinking. uh, like I say, I had a great marriage, and the reason is um, my wife, knew someone has to make the decisions to make the business run. And we applied the same principle in the marriage. In other words, it wasn't her and I, and we had a partnership. No, That's not the same. Uh, it's not. And that's where um, these men and women nowadays, they think we're equal. Well, we're not. Someone has to take the responsibility. And it's funny what I learned, because I said I didn't know anything about women, so my wife was the only thing that I knew about women. And she doesn't mind taking responsibility until things get really, really rough. And then when things get really rough, and then she'll come tell me. And that's okay. That's what I wanted. I wanted her to take care of the simple stuff. And then when stuff started getting complicated, I wanted to say so on there. So, and the thing is, I knew if there's going to be any problems at all, it's going to be my fault. Even though I didn't have anything to do with it, if it's a business, in my business, if it happens in my business, it's my fault. If it happens in our marriage, it's going to be my fault. And that's okay. That's all right. I don't mind that. And like I say, if I'm going to somebody else's business, and we'll give you an example. This is what happened today. The vehicle had a problem in the vehicle, and the guys who owns the vehicle was telling them how to fix his vehicle. And this is what this whole thing started. Afterwards, I told him, if you come into my business and you start telling me how to run my business, I wouldn't take your work. I wouldn't want your work. And it would be the same, and that's what made me start thinking. That's what I did with the relationship with my wife. It wasn't a partnership like we were equal. It wasn't like that. And she was aware of that. And she was also aware that any problems, it's going to be me. It's my fault. There was times, what I've learned, and I don't know if that's all the time on everybody, but uh, because like I say, I've been under a lot of stress. I've had a lot of stress, and I've had to learn to deal with it. Now, my wife never got under as much stress as I have. And so when things started getting really stressful, there was times that she would kind of show a weakness, and I would have to be strong, and I would have to make sure she understood that I'm going to get it taken care of. And she'd say, well, how? And I would tell her, and oh, well, you can't do this, you can't. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to do it my way. And why would we do it my way? Because to try to get something fixed, and I'm doing it your way, I don't understand how that works. It has to be something that I have faith in. I know uh, what's going to happen, and if it doesn't happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. I won't have to deal with all that stuff. I want to know about that, and that's why I say I can do that. That's why I tell people you avoid the legal system, because the system is not set up for you. It's set up for them. So, and that's what's kind of been going on with political stuff. It's set up for them. Whatever hardships you have, they don't want any part of it. And they're going to make sure you get more hardships. And because they don't want to get involved in fixing it, because it takes personal responsibility. And that's why you need to take care of this stuff. And you need to take care of it, even if you are the spouse. You need to take care of it like that. If it's a business, you need to take care of it. You can't, and people will try to do it. And that's why, like say, my clubs, the same thing. There'd be people say, well, I want to be a bouncer for you, run the security and stuff like that. And a lot of nightclubs are done like that. They contract that security out. And I didn't. I took care of it myself. And one reason was I think it was 2 weeks before I got my nightclub, someone was shot in the place. So I knew what I was getting into. And I'm not going to pass that off on somebody else, because I can take care of that kind of stuff. Now, if I can't, then I would hire it out. And there's times that, I did hire things out. There's times that I had the plumber. I paid a plumber to do this stuff. And then after a while, I got my own rotor-rooter machine, because that was always the problem we had. And so then I just started doing it myself. But like I say, through my relationship with my wife, she understood right from the start. She understood that I'm the man, she's the woman. This isn't an equal partnership that we're doing. And I will take that responsibility, but I need her help. And the one thing that I've really noticed, my wife, I could talk to her about anything. Because one thing that I knew she didn't like is when weird or bad things happen, and it just came out of nowhere. And then she asked me about it, and I say, well, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. Well, then, why didn't you tell me? So then that's when I learned we have good communication. So I would tell her stuff. Okay, now if we do this, the nightclub, if we get to the nightclub, you realize we're going to have to deal with drunks. There's going to be times that violence is going to be used. And we went to a lot of stuff like this. And I could talk to her, and she would listen. And it's the same thing. And when she had a problem, she would come talk to me. And then we would talk about it and figure out how I would handle it. And she didn't like the way I handle it. And then she'd say, well, she'll take care of it. And I said, okay, you take care of it. But if you have a problem, let me know. I'll take care of it. And so this is the way our relationship went. So it was not only business, but we put it in our relationship. And this is one thing I noticed since then. These gals, a lot of gals here that I've gone out with, when I try to talk to them, it's funny, they all do the same thing. They don't want to talk. The more serious I want to talk, then that's the time they don't want to talk. So, and that's not a good way to run a relationship. That's one reason why I've been having problems on trying to get something going. And that's because I want to make sure we both know what we're getting into. And if she doesn't want to talk about it, it's not going to work. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of get you updated on a little bit of something I kind of figured out. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.